Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Zach.
Hey everyone, this is Sawyer. We're going to be discussing some truth in the trenches.
So come on and join us on this journey as we grow in our faith. All right, I feel like I was slouching right there, though.
I watched the last episode and I was like, why is my back?
How do I sit?
Like,
If anybody out there wants to send free pointers on how we do this stuff, please send them. We need help. No, that's cool. How about these new green, whatever they're
I
called,
stinking
covers?
love these.
Yeah.
I like them.
I look like I'm like all about green. I got green pants on today, too. This is, it's nice, though.
But
nice,
it's a
comfy.
different green. It kind of looks
Yeah.
different. You can't
Yeah.
even tell. It looks like camouflage.
Yeah, trying to fit in.
Whoa.
Hide. Well, how's your week been?
My week's been good. Week's been
Yeah.
good. It's been busy, but a good busy. How about your week?
Mine's been good. Been busy trying to learn some time management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been doing good. I feel like you've been less hands-on with, just the day-to-day stuff, and you've been really focusing on the stuff you need to handle.
Yeah.
I
was challenged to do that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm a hands-on in the field,
Yeah.
get dirty person. It's very
Yeah.
hard for me to pull back from that.
Yeah. And that's something that you have to learn when you're running a business is,
Mm-hmm.
all right, there's stuff I have to take care of,
Yeah.
and then you end up messing yourself up because
Mm-hmm.
you don't get your stuff done, and then you work late, and then you don't get time with your family.
Yeah. Yeah.
That can be tough.
Yeah, I've been able to put some time into this too, learn
Yeah.
all this stuff. This is new, but this is really cool. I really, after watching the first couple episodes, just kind of, like we said, we got to record a couple, kind of watch them, see how we act. It's kind of, it's just, you got to get in that mood of this is hanging out in the living room,
Yeah.
relaxing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's very new. I've always done production at my church, and I've always been behind the camera, but I've never been in front of a camera. So this is very culture shock for me. I like it though. It's cool. I like what I'm doing. I think God's called us to do it. So it's like, all right, here we
it's
go.
going to get better and better.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad your week's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit about last week. Hopefully you were able to write down a few things that you want to change in your life and pray over those. And hopefully some things have already happened. And, if they haven't yet, we're about to show you how to pray even harder for those things and kind of what that looks like as far as prayer life.
Yeah.
So it's good.
What were your things?
Honestly, pulling, time management.
Pulling back.
Especially, I say pulling back, more cutting it off in the evening, going home and actually being home.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing is setting those boundaries. Like, okay, it's very hard to do.
I know what you mean.
So
I like with the new position that I'm taking on as far as being generator manager, generator technician, whatever you want to call it. I've found myself like really, I get home and it's hard for me to put my feet on the planet for a little bit. Like I'm just constantly thinking of like, okay, I need to call this customer. I need to learn this about this generator. My gosh. And I find myself doing it, and I haven't really it hasn't really clicked with me in the moment. I've kind of just like the next day I was like, man, I sat on my couch thinking about generators. But it's not a bad thing necessarily. It can be a bad thing if you let it take away from your family time and time with the Lord and let it distract you.
Yeah, I heard a guy, I don't even know who it was. It was a YouTube video, and he said he spent all day, he couldn't figure it out, right? Like you just said you were doing it and didn't realize it. But he said he would spend all day at work thinking about what he should have done at home the night before. Then he would get home, think about what he could have done at work.
Yep.
Because he was thinking about the night before. It's like this vicious cycle, and he's like, finally, I just had to set boundaries. Like, I can only do so much in the hours that I have at work, and that's all I can do, and then I have to go home. So that was good. That helped out a lot.
Oh, yeah.
What was one of your things?
My my thing, and I can talk forever about it, but my thing was genuinely prayer.
Yeah.
And I know like that's our topic for today, but I'm reading this book called Letters to the Church by Francis Chan. And one of his notes, and I have this in my notes, but one of the things that he said was, because he's talking about the importance of prayer, and it was crazy that this was today's topic, but he said he asked, so he's a pastor at a church. He asked his staff, "Hey, he talks about the importance of prayer, and he asked them, how much time a day do you spend in prayer?" And they'll answer. And he said, if it's less than an hour, he asked them to step down from their position so he can replace them with someone that prays for an hour, at least an hour a day.
Yeah.
And like Francis Chan, like I heard that and I was like, holy smoke, like that's kind of like whoa. Could you imagine like your boss asking you to step down because you don't pray enough?
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
Oh my goodness. And he kept talking and he was just like, that might sound mean. And that's okay. Like you can think that, but that's how important prayer is. That's how important God makes prayer in the Bible. And, I want to hold, I don't want people on staff. Not that you're not Christian enough, but like you're not ready for ministry. I need people on staff who are serious about it.
Committed.
Are
Yeah.
committed.
I mean, that shows commitment if you
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I heard that and I was like, and you think about an hour. What do you do for? I don't even take a lunch break for 1 hour.
Yeah.
Like my lunch breaks are 30 minutes and they last forever. An hour of talking to God. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And I've really tried to like hone in on that, and it was a gut punch because I don't even think I spend like 15 minutes a day in prayer, and like I don't even think I spend 10 minutes a day. You know what I mean? Like, man, and I wanna get to where like I'm in that constant communication with God, and it really made me question like, man, am I like how deep am I in this? It was a gut punch, but I needed it, and it's really made me open my eyes to talking to the Lord more, and it has really like shifted my walk with God dramatically.
Yeah.
Like I feel more in tune with Him, however you want to put that.
Well, yeah, I think one of those prayers in the freedom class is something to the effect of, you pray that your spirit and the Holy Spirit be aligned, right? And so I think you made me think a lot about what I do. So, part of what I wanted to say today was that I feel like I don't time it, so I don't know if it's an hour right
sure.
or not, but
Sure.
I have this example I've used, and man, this can be small to some people, but early on in the electrical business, I dropped a screw, and it's a special screw for a special piece of equipment. Doesn't seem like a big deal to most people, but when you're poor and you you need to finish this job and get paid that day to literally get food on your table, that was an important screw. I looked everywhere in the grass. I just remember looking, and I was just like, Lord, I just need to find the screw, please,
Yeah.
I said that prayer. I looked down, and the screw was pointing up straight at me.
Wow.
And I'd done been looking there.
You looked in that area.
Yeah, and so it's not like,
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. People say, oh, you just missed it, but I just believe that was from the Lord,
Yeah.
And I think that's part of my prayers is something that just a constant communication.
Yeah.
Not okay, well, it's morning time, I'm going to pray, and then about my day, and then at night, I'm going to pray about my day, the day I had. to me, it's just like everything. Like somebody sits through a red light, I'm about to get a little frustrated. You could just be like, man, Lord, just I hope you bless them today, and help me with my anger, because it doesn't matter if I go through this light right now or not.
Yeah, help me check that.
Yeah.
Imagine, like how you said, like, it's not just I talk to him when I wake up in the morning, then I talk to him before I go to sleep. Imagine, like, talking to your wife like that. Like, imagine just, like, I'm about to go to bed. Let me talk to my wife real quick.
For 5 minutes.
Just woke up. Let me talk to my wife real quick. Like, what? Like, it's a constant, like, all day. Not, some people it's different. Like, some people have, but, like, I think, in my opinion, an intentional marriage is constant communication, is healthy communication. You're not necessarily just like, and I can compare my wife to God, which that's different. It's different dynamics, but it's like you can be in constant communication with God. You don't have to pick up your phone or you don't have to call and see if he's busy. You know,
see if he answers.
You know what I mean? Like I mean, to have a good that's just like a minute example, because like with your wife, like it's you want to have that constant communication, but there's times like where you can't get in touch with her, like y'all are busy, whatever, and that's just the dynamics of it. With God, he is available to you 24/7. There isn't a time of day that he is not available, and so why not take full advantage of that? Like, and he's not gonna. I mean, unlike my wife, like he's not gonna argue with me sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, he's always available to you. So why not take advantage of that?
Yeah.
And be able to. You can grow that relationship as much as you want to. That's something that's crazy to me. Is that I heard someone say like, your relationship with God is fully dependent on how far you're willing to go with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's 100% available to you.
Yeah.
How much do you want to grow that relationship? Fully up to you.
That's good.
Yeah. You gonna write that down? I did not make that up. But I mean, like that's also a gut punch, because it's like, man, I feel kind of distant from God lately. Like, or you have those moments where you're like, that's your fault, dude. You know, and there are times where God could. I'm not a theologian, so don't get mad at me. But like, I believe that there are times where like God can draw away from you, or like distance himself. He'll never leave you nor forsake you. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't let you grow in situations. But he's always available to you. And so that's amazing. That's crazy.
The thing that's like that song, he's always working. We get so caught up, we want to pray about it right now, and then tomorrow it be answered.
Yep.
But just in my experience over the last 4 or 5 years, you can pray about something, and it don't get answered for a year. You might pray and get an answer pretty quick, but sometimes it takes some time. Yeah. I had it marked here. This is what it made me think of, but it's in Mark, and he says, I'm just going to read it. It's Mark 11:23 and 24. Truly I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, go throw yourself into the sea, and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them. Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. So that's another thing, and I know we touched on that this morning. That's like one of my, I think of that one a lot, because we always pray for stuff, especially like in front of people. We'll pray for something, and then we'll be like, well, Lord willing.
Yeah.
So that's like, I always hear that, and it's like
a cop out.
Yeah, it's just like that out. Like, that's just that. You had 99% faith there, and then you kind of threw it out right at the end.
Yikes.
I think of that a lot, and
well, even me thinking about that, like just like right now thinking about that, I'm like, even in the back of my mind, I'm still trying to like cop out, like, well, what if he doesn't answer it, And it's like, oh shoot, because I mean, they're obviously like if Grandpa dies, and I'm like, God, please bring him back to life, like, okay, you know what I mean, like,
yeah,
might not happen. More than likely, it's not gonna happen. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But that doesn't mean that God's not sovereign, That doesn't mean
that's exactly right.
just because he didn't answer your question with a yes. I mean, sometimes his answer is no,
Yeah,
and that's okay.
it's just how it has to be.
Doesn't mean he didn't answer it. Your ways are higher than my ways. Your thoughts are higher than my thoughts.
Yeah,
So sometimes his answer is no. And are you okay with that? And like Brian, the guy we work with, Stansberry, he says something that was like, really cool to me. I've heard it before, but he said it in a way that was really neat. But he was like, the person that can be, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but like the way I received it was like the person that can be going through a trial, like, trigger warning, you have a stillborn baby, or I mean, like your daughter or son, someone dies, something horrible, tragic happens, and you can still wake up every morning and God is still the God of your life. God is still sovereign, regardless of what I'm going through, regardless of blank. God is still sovereign. Those people are untouchable to the enemy.
yeah.
Untouchable.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I've thought about that a lot. Everybody, you want to say that you would be, whatever, 100%. Oh, I'm all in.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like if he came back right now and walked through the door, hopefully we would have that feeling. but
Yeah.
but would we? We can
Right.
say whatever, but until you're going through that, you just don't know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and somebody that goes through that and man still keeps him number one and just understands that it's just has to be.
Right.
That's amazing.
Well, you think about like, and for me, like it's easy for me to say, be pumped up for the Lord and be excited, and but whenever someone cuts me off in traffic, or some minute inconvenience happens, my I can show my tail pretty quick, and that's one reason I got. I don't know if you'd see it right there. It's a rose. Got tattooed on my hand. Say what you want about tattoos. I believe what I believe, but I got this tattoo because I heard this podcast, and in the podcast they were talking about, man, it's really easy to worship God and to pursue a relationship with God whenever it's springtime. All the plants in the woods have beautiful flowers growing on them. It's gorgeous looking. Everything's vibrant and just stunning. But then winter comes and all you have is bushes and thorns. And like, what then? How rooted are you in God, in your relationship with Him? Not just necessarily rooting yourself whenever things are good. Like, what if your entire life was bad? What if every day you woke up and you had like 24/7, you had the worst imaginable migraine, like nothing could ever take it away. Like, you woke up with a migraine every single morning, and then you went to bed with a migraine every single night. No medicine. There isn't a pill. There isn't a shot that could take it away. There isn't surgery. would God still be sovereign in your life? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. That's good.
Yep. Oh, I know. I'm really smart.
Yeah.
Did not come from me.
I think that's a tough one too, and that everybody goes through their version of tough. Not everybody's going to lose somebody or a kid. It could be. It doesn't have to be like even that extreme. But like I said, are you rooted in Christ, and then also obviously your prayer life, which would be, the highs and lows. You've still got to pray to Him like all the time. It's all the time. So when you're going through, I know. It's probably normal for most people to really pray when they need something, and then they kind of forget when they've got it right, when they're going through the good stuff.
Yep.
And I have noticed, just being honest, I've noticed a pattern of times over the last few years of, I don't want to say like forgetting about Him. Obviously, I'm not doing that, but I'll get so busy and everything's okay. Or, majority of everything's okay. And so I feel like that prayer is probably a lot less than an hour per day, but then something bad's happening and I'm like, it's like all day, you know.
It's almost like you get to a place where you're like, I don't want to say you crave like the trials, but, you read in James this morning, what was it? Trials produce endurance.
Yeah, perseverance.
And you almost crave those trials because it's like, man, I miss that dependence on God. Like I miss that. Like I craved God in those times, and I'm just being honest. Like just like how you're saying, like when it's good, like when life's going good, I don't depend on Him as much. And that, I hate to say that, but I mean, just being real, like I don't.
I think that's just human, just us as humans,
Oh yeah, and it's convicting as crap, and I'm not excusing that. Like we need to depend on God all the time, and I think like as we go throughout our Christian walk, like God's gonna produce that in us, and just being honest with Him, like God, I don't crave You today. I don't want to read today. I don't want to pray today. My brain is occupied and I don't really need You today, and that's real because God already knows. Like you're not telling Him something you don't know.
Anything. I think that's but being aware of that is very good, and then that's part of it. When you pray, you don't have to we get so caught up in asking for stuff. Something good happens, you're like, thank the Lord.
Yeah.
That time, thank You for this.
Right.
But then what about like that? Like, dude, I shouldn't say dude, but you wake up in the morning. One of those things I heard was just the first thing you do when you get out of bed is say, God, I don't know what today looks like. I just want to have a good day and get closer to You. Or, I say have a good day. Everybody wants to have a good day.
Right.
But it's like, why not just pray to Him and just talk to Him and be like, God, I just don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm feeling. I'm just not feeling it. I don't understand it. Just help me understand. And that's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Just
talk to Him.
Yeah.
And there's times like, and I'll use my marriage as another example. Like there's times where even, I've been married for 2 years. And so we don't know, like we're not as mature and like close as like you and Lauren would be because y'all have been married longer, y'all have been together longer, you've had time to get to know each other longer. Me and Kirsten are still going through those stages, but like there's times where like, just us being married for 2 years, like I'll wake up one day or I'll be sitting on the couch and minding my own business, and I'll be going through something mentally, and she can just look over at me and be like, what's going on? And I'll just tell her like, I don't know. I just like, this happened and I don't know how I'm feeling, I just blah, 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 blah. And she understands. Like, I don't really have to have the right words necessarily. She just she gets me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How much
you don't even have to
more?
like explain it. You just kind of like, I don't know. I'm just feeling.
Yeah. And she knows. There's days where like I'll see it, like I'll see you go, like you acting, not acting, but like you're going, like I can tell like something's going on in your brain, and I can just tell, and you don't have to tell me. I just know, and I do not know you as much as Lauren does, and I definitely don't know you as much as God does, and so it's like just have a stinking conversation with him, you know, tell him.
He wants that.
Yeah.
He wants us to talk to him, be in a relationship with him. So.
Isn't that crazy? Like the God that, and this is so Sunday school, but like the God that spoke everything into existence just wants to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Just wants you to talk to him. That's crazy. That's so. Oh, it gives me chills.
So if somebody was listening in on this, you just made me think of this. And you're like, oh, he don't hear us or whatever. You know, maybe you have those thoughts, or maybe you've prayed and not had that answer right away, whatever the situation. Think about, I'm thinking of several times where just in the truck, just praying about stuff, because I pray for hours every day. You know,
Francis Chance
yeah, he should hire me. But I think about that, like just going down the road and just praying and being like, you know, for me, am I on the right track? You know, am I doing, or let's say you're about to make a specific move in life or some kind of decision, just pray about it. And then you get these chills and this feeling when you're talking about it.
Yeah.
That's your answer right there.
Right.
I've had that happen several times, and that's how I know that, you know, he's in communication with us. It's not going to be audible. I know it's weird especially for newer people in the faith, but he's going to send signs. Like things are going to happen.
Right.
Know? He's going to lead you in the right direction.
Yeah. Kirsten, and I'm going to steal this from her, but she stole it from somebody else, so I think it's okay. Fair. So she said this. So how you said, you know, you just get that feeling like, hey, am I making the right decision? Hey, is this like, this is another thing I'm going to butcher, but like, it's sort of like whenever you're asking God, like, hey, is this the right move? Like, am I making the right decision in this? Majority of the time, you're not going to get an audible answer. I've never received an audible answer from God. Excuse me. But it's almost like you feel a peace about it. Like you know, like you're at a crossroads and you have a decision and a decision. And you're asking God, like, okay, God, like where should I go? And it's almost like you have this gut feeling like, okay, I know that this is the right decision. And the way that she explained it was, just bear with me for a second. It's almost like a woman having a period, okay? And like, it's so cool. Like, it's sometimes like that decision like could be painful. It's a hard road. It's a hard way to go. So kind of like you starting up ZB Electric, you know, like that wasn't easy, you know, like it's a hard, but you just knew like, okay, that's the way I need to go. Same thing with like a woman having a period, like, man, like this sucks that this happens, but like, you just know like, okay, this is what needs to happen in order for my body to function the way it's supposed to function. I know that this is the decision God wants me to make, because I know that this is how the the kingdom needs to function. Yeah. Like I know that this is the right decision because I feel a peace about this. It produces fruit, whatever. But it's just like you just know.
Yeah. No, that's good, because you can't explain that to somebody. A person has to feel that.
Yep.
Have that experience with God.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Kirsten. I probably butchered that, but it was a really good. It was really cool how she explained it. But like, man, like God just he just kind of like your analogy, like a foot lamp. Like
Yeah.
he's just step by step. He's just showing me the way, you know.
Perfect puzzle putting together. Everything lines up. Perfect time. Everything's perfect. If you look back at you can see God's fingerprints all over your life. Those little decisions, like you said, you're just talking about. You just know that's the right thing, and then you do it, and then something that you don't even expect happens.
Produce from it.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
That's so crazy.
I had another verse.
Okay.
This one really hits home for me.
Okay.
It's Matthew 7:21 through 23. It's talking about, it's titled True Disciples. I don't even know what version this is. NLT. It's not New King James or Old King James or any of those guys.
You're like JV Christian.
Yeah. I can understand this one. So it says, not everyone who calls out to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. Only those who actually do the will of my Father in heaven will enter. On Judgment Day, many people will say to me, Lord, Lord, we prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and performed many miracles in your name. But I will reply, this is Jesus, the Lord. He says, I never knew you. Get away from me, you who break God's law. So I'm tying that in with prayer, because the point here is all these people had all the knowledge of the Bible.
Yeah.
They could like recite what was it called? The Torah. Or
right.
Whatever. Okay. They went around casting demons. They would casting demons out. They would stand on the corners, pray out loud all the time. So all these things to like outwardly show that they knew a lot about the Bible and God, I guess. But they never had the relationship with Him. So how do you do that? That's prayer. Every day, just start talking to Him. You don't have to understand anything. You don't have to have the answer. Just pray to Him. He'll start revealing stuff to you and moving you along. And I just think that's good, because that's the most important thing is the relationship. You know all you want to about the Bible, but if you don't have a relationship through prayer, you really don't have anything.
You don't have anything.
Yeah.
I never knew you. Holy smoke. And those people might not have been bad people. They might have had really good intentions. But it was just, they weren't submitted to the Spirit.
I don't know if you were there, this reminded me, there's a YouTube video. It's kind of like, it's a cool video because it's three people that are coming to the gates of heaven. It's Jesus. And he's like, where are the so many thousands of souls that you were supposed to save, basically? Like, where are they? And he's like, well, Lord, I'm going to count it. You know, I helped churches with their finances. I did this and blah, 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 all this stuff that he did, right? And the guy that's portraying the Lord, he's like, well, I never called you to be an accountant. I called you to be a pastor.
Whoa.
And you didn't do it. Then there's one, to flip the script, there's one that's a pastor, and he's like, he's calling him accountant. And he's like, well, accountant. And he's like, no, I'm a pastor of a church, 700 people. Like, we've done all these things. He's like, but I didn't call you to be a pastor. I called you to be an accountant. And had you done this, you know, X things would have played out, you know.
Oh, it's so scary.
Then the best one was last. It was the I got chills right now thinking about that. But it was a woman who had 3 kids, and she's like, well, I didn't go preach sermons. I didn't go on missionary trips overseas. And he's like, well, I never called you to that. I called you to raise those 3 boys.
Wow.
So that's exactly what she did, what she was called to do. She's like, I just did the best I could to raise these 3. And he's like, that's what I wanted you to do.
Yeah. That's
so I think that covers, it's really cool, because, you know, just tying that back in, that means you need to be in step with God and His will for your life. And the only way to do that is through prayer.
Right.
So.
Man, that's so scary. And, I mean, because Judas he lived life with Jesus. Talked to Him every day. Was like
24/7. They didn't just text and hang out. They were hanging out,
with each
camping
other.
out, you know, whatever.
Like, probably had arguments with Jesus. Like, got like crazy. Like, did life with Jesus.
Yep.
And didn't really know Him. It's so scary. I mean, not that I'm scared that,
Just makes you aware of what you're doing.
It definitely humbles you quickly. Like, man, it makes me want to talk to God more. Makes me want to make sure I'm in right step with Him. I want to make sure I'm in right step with God all the time, and I want to make sure that and I mean, we're not going to be perfect, but I want what He wants from me. I don't. And sure, there's things that I want, but if those aren't the things that He wants, I want Him to take those things away from me. And the only way I can do that is to tell Him, like, hey, I want this thing. If this isn't supposed to be mine, if I'm not supposed to have this, please take it away from me and take away the desire from me.
That's good.
Because if it were up to me and my own vices, like, I would have that.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I like in the end, whenever I'm in heaven, I'm not going to care about all these things. I'm really just going to care about what did God want? Like, what did I do? That's all I'm going to care about. And so,
yep,
man,
I think that if our ultimate goal on earth as Christians is to bring as many people as we can to know Christ, know the gospel, bring them to salvation, hopefully lead them to salvation. God is the only one that can save them. But so when we get to the end of our life and we're at the gates, and we're answering for our life, however that looks, what are you going to be able to say? That's the question, So.
Yeah.
That's good. And what you said there about you hope you're in right step with God or with the will of God for your life. The only way to know that is prayer. And I know I bring this up all the time, but Craig Rochelle wrote a book called Dangerous Prayers. One of those is like, God, just search me.
Yeah.
If there's like you just said, if there's anything that is in my life that you don't want or that I don't need, remove the desire, because that's the biggest things for us is desire, because we're humans.
Yeah.
The other thing would be if there's anything that I'm not doing, like show me, and I'm willing to do it.
Yeah.
And when you do that, though, you better be prepared to do something that's uncomfortable.
Yes.
Because it's going to happen.
That's a dangerous prayer.
Yeah. We're in the middle of that right now doing this. This is
scary.
Me. Yeah.
It's terrifying because, I mean, being vulnerable in any way, shape, or form it's not natural. Like I as a non-believer, I would have never put myself out there in a way like in this, like, just
because there's everybody can judge you.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna, or they could say we got it wrong, or whatever, and maybe we,
sure,
maybe we do get some stuff wrong. Hey, teach us, that's.
Yeah.
That it is scary.
Yeah.
But as a believer, for me, I'm like, I don't really, I just pray. Hopefully I'm led to say what I need to say. And if somebody's led to us to tell us, hey, you need to, do this or that, we'll take that advice and pray on it and see what happens, and that, I think that's the difference between a believer and a non-believer.
And that's I think that's piggybacking off of that, and like just being willing to be wrong, being willing for God to say no, or to say like you're not right, like you made the wrong decision. And I think the only way that you can be open to that is to be submitted to the Spirit, to be in constant communication, be in right relationship with God. And like that can be scary because you're like, man, what if I'm not in the place I'm supposed to be? Like what if I'm supposed to be doing this over here? Like, okay, start now. Say, okay, God, where do you want me? Where should I be? And you can even, start where your feet are, be vulnerable to the Spirit, be vulnerable to what you feel like you need to do where you are. And then I promise you, if you're in right relationship with God, He's gonna put you where He wants you.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna make it happen.
I think I'm going to share this real quick. We were recently going to buy a house, had everything. I mean, we're up to like final documents, right? Yeah. And here in West Monroe, and everything seemed like it was lining up perfect. And we're like, oh, this is from God. Like, this is it, right? We go through the whole process. I mean, just, I don't know, a couple weeks before we're supposed to sign or something. Unfortunately for self-employed people, they make it kind of difficult. Mm-hmm. And, the financing fell through.
Yeah.
We didn't even, like, flinch as far as, like, being upset.
Yeah.
It kind of sucked. We were like,
sure,
dude, I wonder what we're going to get.
Yeah.
That's that. And I'm not, like, bragging. That's, like, the attitude that God gives you. I feel like when you're in step, because he was like, he let us go down that path for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. I still don't understand that yet. But then he made sure we didn't. Maybe it would have been a mistake. Maybe that house has got some kind of issues. Who knows? Sure. But the cool thing was to be like, man, what are we going to get? Yep. Like, I'm ready to see what he's got for us, whenever that is. And now we're kind of ready, guys. So can we have a house?
You know what I mean?
Yes. But that's cool, man.
Well, and another thing is like, and I'm not saying that you're not stewarding where you are and like you're not stewarding your resources, but it's like for me, and this kind of convicted me too. Like me and my wife we're in the process of buying a house right now, and it's pretty much said and done. We're about to sign the papers, but it's like I almost feel like undeserving of it because I feel like I didn't steward the house I live in now as much as I could. Yes, we live like 45 minutes away from everybody. We live in the boonies right now, and that's just where God put us. But it's like, man, I'm almost convicted because it's like, man, could we have done more? And like, it makes me sit on my hands a little bit and be like, okay, God, like what do you want me to do with the place you're giving me? Like mm-hmm. you're providing for me. I don't deserve this. What do I do, God? And same thing with like my finances. I get a raise at work. Like, man, I almost don't deserve this rate. Like, what did I do with the money I was making? Mm-hmm. I was spending all of it on bills and on groceries, and like, yeah, those are good things, but like, I need to like. Everything that I'm given is not mine. Like, why I need to be a conduit rather than you said that to me. Like, I want to be a conduit rather than a pail. I don't want to just receive, fill up, overflow. Mm-hmm. I want to take it and then use it.
Yeah.
Like, where do you want me to bring it to, God? And like that's huge, and like. That's something that like everybody can start doing now. It's just like, okay, God, you giving me this cup to drink from. Like, how can I use that cup? Okay, you're giving me this phone. How can I use this phone? Mm-hmm. And just look at everything like that.
One of the biggest that conduit thing was something that in the last several weeks, maybe a month, really hit me because I'm around some people that are extremely tight with their money. Sure. I'm not saying you're not,
Don't be smart.
I don't want to get off in that, right, but I believe, and this is through prayer. I just believe this, that I'm going to use tipping a waitress for an example. That's an easy one.
That's a good one.
Everybody's so, and I was in this for a long time. Everybody's so quick to like, can I do 5%? How much is that? Or 10%? Yep. Like, I hope I'm not sounding like I don't do percentages anymore. I do it like, I didn't even think of this. We'll literally, but I'll be like, Lord, what do you want her to have? Yeah. And there's times that it's been good for them, right? Especially, different times of the year. Just get this feeling like, man, they just need it, Whatever that looks like percentage-wise doesn't matter. But I believe that I've gotten this money in being a conduit, just letting it flow right back out. And because of that, the Lord's just going to keep filling it. Yeah. It's the same thing with this podcast thing. How are we going to pay for all this? I don't know, but I was led to do it, and somehow it's going to get paid for, you know? Right. And so, sponsors needed. But really, like, how's it going to get paid for? I don't know. I don't have all those answers. Yeah. People ask me those questions, like, well, how are you going to pay for it? I don't know. Yeah. Just do it. It's cool being in step with the Lord. And, you know, whenever you get to heaven, I don't think you're going to be asking the question like, oh man, I can't believe we almost didn't make that podcast because I almost couldn't afford it, man. Like, God, I wish you would have given me more finances. Yeah. Wish you would have helped me out a little bit more. I hate that I missed that meal that one Wednesday. Like, no, you're going to be worshiping God. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter. Think about that when we're getting way off here, but think about when we're like, you know, just looking back on this, like, dude, we were able to do however long this lasts, whatever that looks like, able to do a podcast to help spread the gospel. Yep. Like, man, that's just cool. Yeah, it's so cool. Oh, boy. And that was one of my things this year, or like, I say this year, last year too, but like this year. And I think this podcast kind of answered that prayer for me in a way. But like, I wanted to share the gospel more, and I wanted to be more. A word I like to use is flamboyant with my faith. Like I want people to know that I'm a Christian, and not like in a braggy way. Like, look what God did for me. But like I want people to see me and be like, man, I want that, you know? And it's hard for me sometimes because like, I want to tell people about the gospel. I want to tell people about what God has done for me. But it's awkward. And like, you know, there's a lot of times where I drop the ball, and that's not an excuse. Like I want to get better at that. But this definitely answered my prayer for that. And that was one, talking about prayer. I just talked to God, and I was like, God, just please help me, because I'm horrible at this. Like, I can talk to a brick wall, but for some reason I'm hitting this wall, and I don't. It's hard for me to talk about it. And then, wow, I'm talking about it. Yeah, and it goes out. That's the coolest thing. Yeah, 24/7. It's available, and I think that's the coolest part. And social media is so big too to be able to put it out on that, because we can't. I mean, we work all day. This is something you can do. 30, 45-minute podcasts, for however long they're going to be, and it's put out there, and people can listen to it on their drive. I think that's just this could help somebody. Part. This could help somebody 10 years from now. Yeah, it's wild. God's so cool, man. All right, so I guess we'll wrap this dude up. We have talked about the power of prayer. Hopefully we did a good job about that, or doing that for y'all. I did a good job. Yes, you did. I did a really excellent good job. I think, the action item, if we want to call it that, for the week is dedicate 10 minutes to intentional prayer. I think that's a very good start. If you don't know what to say, man, just again, like last week we said, just say, God, I just need this, blank, whatever that is. Yeah. Or, God, thank you for today. I just had a good day, or maybe, God, I had a couple of times I got angry and I don't even know why, can you help me with that? Yeah. Simple stuff like just talk. Yeah. You don't have to just talk. Right. Like me and you are talking, just talk to him. I've started this thing where, like, it used to be a habit whenever my alarm would go off, I would just roll over and, like, all right, turn my alarm off. Then I go through, like, all right, who all texting me? Like, let me check my emails. But, like, now I try. I don't do it every day. I try to. But, like, I'll go turn my alarm off, and then I'll just sit there and be like, wow, that's one right there. I just breathed the breath I didn't deserve. Wow, thank you. And just like the first thing in the morning, I just set my, like, all right, thank you, God. Like the first thing I did. And it really kind of sets the course for the day in a way, almost not
all the time. Like there's times where like something happens and change your mindset, but you can pray about that too.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Mm-hmm. Well, again, I hope we did pretty good here, and we appreciate everybody listening. If you feel led to invite some of your friends to check this thing out, we'd appreciate if you share, like, subscribe, whatever all the things are that you do for these things. And we hope y'all come on and join us on the journey next week.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love you guys.